Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope everybody can hear me. Excellent, because I had to turn everything down and I never know if I can actually be heard. So, anyway, welcome everyone, and it's great to be live again. Sorry for the long, oh, what do you call it? Sorry, I gotta put this in it. Wait, waiting for fresh mango. Oh, here, I gotta switch this so I can see there we go. Great. Okay. So how's everyone's day today? How how am I doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. So the picture that you saw when you entered the room, that is a picture that I took in Puerto Vallarta this last year. And yes, sis, I would love to be there right this minute. um, I am really happy to be live today. I'm going to be honest though, it might sound a little off. I am fighting a migraine, so I didn't know for sure if I was able to come on, but if I could fight a migraine and still go to work, I can do a live. Yes, I can. And I miss you guys. So um, I had some plans today as far as doing the live, but unfortunately, what I was planning on doing, I haven't been able to get it to work properly. And that was I was going to do a game, and it's called Jackbox. I don't know if some of you have heard it or not, but it's really, really fun, and it's something that I'm going to have to learn how to work on my computer to see if it will actually allow me to put it on live. But so we have Jill's in the house, yes, and Island Girl, my sis, and we've got Diamond Art Works. Who else do we have here? So it's great to see all of you. Public holiday here, so it's very laid back. Oh, what public holiday, Island Girl? What is that? Hello, Rob. Diamond Painting Dog Dads in the house. Oh, it's okay. You know what? I have lived with migraines all of my life. It is something that I'm used to at this point. I am going to turn off this bright light though, so there. So it'll be a little bit dark. So I hope all of you don't mind. So the picture that I'm working on, this is Egyptian Queen of the Leopards. I'm still working on this painting. Lots of confetti in the leopards. I am telling you, I'm surprised I still have hair. So um, it is, well, what you see right now, there's a lot of color blocking in here, right here, but I haven't gotten finished with the last leopard, and it is, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest. Let's see, just for a bit, have to get some sleep. Oh, so you're working tonight, Rob. Well, I wish you the best of luck at work. I'm off for 2 days. Yay! I'm so happy. I need the break. Although I do work 3 days a week at home, I have to be honest. I'm really looking forward to some holiday. Oh, the DP is from Diamond Art Club, and I really do love the The painting, I think it's beautiful. But like I said, there's a lot of confetti in these leopards and a lot of color switching. And yeah, it is. So the vacay is over for Rob. I hope you had a good vacation. Sis, to answer your question, you had asked me, I think it was a few hours ago, in regards to the border opening up. It sounds like Canada will be closed for another 4 weeks. Not 100% sure if they're going to lift it. I do know that they were saying if there was a family emergency, because they realize that there are people in the States and in Canada that have family on both sides. They are saying that if an emergency does happen and you need to come in, and or vice versa, they will let you come in. But it has to be an emergency. Yep, I'm working on confetti. Yeah, you know what? Diamond Artworks, I'm telling you, I don't mind confetti, but this type of confetti, I would say, is pull out the hair type of confetti. It is crazy. Crazy. So I am, yeah, at this point, I'm ready for rounds again. Those of you that like squares, no disrespect here, but I really need to get to the rounds again. This is driving me insane. And you know, oddly enough, I started diamond painting with squares, and I didn't start with rounds for well over a year. Or I think I was a year and a half into diamond painting before I went into rounds. And I didn't think I'd like rounds. I love them. Love them. Let's see. Can't stand kits like that. I did a 30 by 30 Dreamers design. That was confetti hell, and I don't want to do another ever. I totally agree that, you know what, I understand why there's confetti in paintings. I understand that. However, it really hurts the eyes, and it really, I don't know. For me, it just drives me insane. My Mount Rainier pick has a lot of confetti. I can believe that, sis. I really can. But I have to say, the last picture that you showed me of it, it's beautiful. It's turning out really, really nice. By the way, Tammy, what store did you get that from? Was that one of your customs that you got from, I think you said, oh gosh, I can't remember. So if you can let me know, I'd greatly let me know. I like variety. Jill. Oh, see, there's a difference between variety and pull your hair out type confetti. I mean, this is, I don't know. Like I said, when I'm in the color blocking section or it's not a lot of switching back and forth, I'm okay with that. But when it is like crazy confetti, yeah, it drives me insane. I don't know if anyone does like throw the diamond painting as confetti, but you try to avoid it as much as you can. That is true. You do try to avoid it. And Tammy, you're frustrating. You're frustrated. I post how far I am along. I got a custom from Evermoment. So is that your Evermoment custom? Because I know you said you got a couple of customs from, was it, I want to say Craftables, but I don't think that is it. I think that was another store you were talking about. And I have been looking and looking and looking to start trying different stores, but I haven't found one quite yet that I'm really interested in trying out. And Rob, I think you had done that subscription with one of those groups. I can't remember the name of that one either. Um, how did that go? I got one custom for, okay, that's what it is. Pretty Neat. Um, I was looking at purchasing for Pretty Neat. I haven't done it yet though. I still want to give myself a little bit of time to pay some of my credit card off. Let's see. I'm working on a custom from Treasure Studios Art. So Diamond Artworks. How do you like Treasure Studios Arts? I've heard really good things about them. So I haven't tried them out yet, but I've heard some really good things. What do you think? Am I on the right? Yeah, okay. So did anyone watch the oh what sorry, all of a sudden I went into a brain fart. Um, the launching this morning or this afternoon, I should say, because it kind of, I guess it happened a couple hours ago. And I got to watch it. It was really nice. I haven't seen one since the space shuttle that blew up, and I said I wasn't going to ever watch one of those again because that was horrifying. I'm still waiting for the two paintings from Pretty Neat. They are being held hostage in customs for the last month. Seriously? Wow, that's unbelievable. But then again, I ordered some stuff from AliExpress and they've been sitting in customs for like 3 weeks. So go figure. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about the virus thing. Um, so hopefully it comes to you soon. I saw your pin though. Beautiful pin. Beautiful. Let's see. I am not worked these projects from a scripture yet. Okay, I just ordered from Pretty Neat too. Yes, Rob, you told me that you ordered from Pretty Neat, and I'm really interested to find out how those paintings are. I've heard Treasure Studios art is good, but personally, I've avoided buying anything from the other side of the world because of the shipping delays. Yes, totally agree on that. I had ordered a painting before all of this um, started, as far as we understood. Now, I ordered a painting from In Love Arts in the first part of January, and it didn't get to me until, well, like at the end of March. So it is crazy long, crazy long. Um, I love Treasure Studios art. I love the glue, how awesome it is. And then I'm not particularly in love with the image, but I love the product and she was amazing. Yeah, I heard that they had amazing customer service. So I'm going to have to check them out again. Hello, Victoria. How are you? Never be sorry that you're late. Never, never, never. Um, Customs held my pin I won when I was in Mexico. Just got that one Thursday. So is that the one that you got when we were in Mexico? Holy smokes. That's a long time. I have been waiting since February for my Treasure Studios art. You know, I noticed a lot of people have been waiting a long time for certain paintings that they've bought from certain stores. I'm really surprised though, because the order that I placed from AliExpress from the Mien store, I assumed I wouldn't get that for at least 3 months, and I ended up getting it a lot faster than I expected. So I think it just depends on their supplier. Um, let's see. I'm waiting for a kit from Royal DP. It's been almost 4 months. Have you reached out to them yet, Rob, about that? Because that seems like a long time. then again, I purchased a diamond painting pen in August, and I still haven't received it yet. So go figure. The red and blue ones, yes. Red and blue ones. Am I missing something? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, never mind. I know what you mean. You're talking about your diamond pen. See, I think the reason why I got mine so quickly, Tammy, is because they actually live here in Manitoba. So it only takes about 2 or 3 days for me to get one. Got to hit the sack, have fun, and be sure to check your email. Surprise, surprise. Okay, I'll do that, Rob. Thank you so much for joining, and you take care of yourself, okay? I asked the post office why it took so long. They stayed in customs for 2 weeks, but they had a huge backlog, so that is why it has taken so long. Yes, believe me, I've heard that myself from Canada Post. I also from. So Jill, you've ordered from Royal Painting or Royal Diamond Painting as well, and it's taking forever. You know what? I've been on their site. I've seen their paintings. I have not purchased from them yet. So I might have to try them out, but probably after all of the virus thing goes. The red and blue pen. Yes. Okay. The diamond painting that I'm working on is a commission piece, so that I can't wait to get it done so I have no more confetti. What do you mean by commission piece? Curious. Now this painting, once I get done with this one, I believe I'm going to start working on, I have a painting from Rainy Day Diamonds, and it is a full crystal drill, and I'm going to work on that one, I believe. And then I got a couple of paintings from In Love Arts that I want to do as well. So those paintings, I've had them for a while. I just haven't started them. I wanted to get some of my Diamond Art Club paintings done. I have tons of Diamond Art Club paintings and I haven't completed them yet. So I'm like, oh, I got to get these done. And this one here, Victoria, if you're still in the room, I wanted to do this one because you had mentioned something about the lady's lips. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to do this one next because I want to check that out. I want to see how it turned out. Have you seen the little video that I have of this painting? That I guess it's the I took it because I was like halfway done or something like that. I wanted to post that so that everyone can see. It actually does look pretty good. They're a little bit bigger than I would like to see, but I think they still look pretty good. You may want to rethink the next project. Oh, Rob, you didn't. Oh, okay. I had a funny feeling about that. You didn't. You didn't have to do that. But thank you. So I'm now really excited to get this box. Because I was excited to begin with, but it was like I had this sneaky suspicion that you did something. So thank you. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to get the box. So that's so sweet of you. I mean, a commission piece that somebody hired me to do as a diamond painting for them. Oh, super! That is awesome, Diamond Artworks. Oh, you're going to have to let us know. I don't know if you can let us know, but let us know what it is. I would love to see what that's going to be about. Yes, I agree that they are a little big, but it still looks lovely and looks forward to. So you have one, Victoria. Be prepared. That confetti is going to drive you insane. The leopards, it's just the leopards though. The image, I have to say, they map this out perfectly. One thing I will say about Diamond Art Club is I love the way they map their paintings. It's so easy and clear. But yeah, get ready for that confetti because it's coming your way. Let's see. It means that I'm getting paid for the painting. Yes, I do. Yay! That's great. I didn't know that you got it. You're going to love it. It's, once you start working it and you start getting through all that, the color blocking, it starts to go really fast until you get into those leopards. When are you going to start Hotel DP? Well, I may start that as I normally don't particularly care to do 2 paintings at a time or even 3. I tried that once and I literally drove myself insane. In fact, I'm surprised I didn't burn myself out doing it. But I probably will do that while I'm working on the rainy day one. And the reason why is I just got my order for, is it this one here? No. Here. I just got my order. I don't know if you'll be able to see these very well. Here, let me turn the light on. You may or may not. I hope you guys can see this. But I ordered these crystals for that painting, and they're a light green, and they're AB crystals. So I'm hoping that this will really jazz up that painting. So I've got some of these, and then I also purchased some of these as well. Actually, I should put them in a tray. That would probably be the safest thing to do. Oops. Well, this green tray doesn't help. Let's move this around. But I also got some of these too. So we'll see. But these are my gold. They're actually called Metal Sunshine. So hopefully I got enough of this. I don't know for sure, but I'm hoping that that's enough. So that is what I was waiting for, or I would have started it already. But this is going to be a really big painting. But there's lots of color blocking in this painting. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It won't take me that long to get through. Let's see. I am doing the original lady from the Star Trek and President Obama. The piece is going to the Star Trek lady. Super! That is excellent. Well, you're going to have to take a picture of that and share it with the group. I mean, that would be awesome. I would love to see that painting. Where did you order your crystals from? Well, I ordered them from the same group that I've been working with in regards to their crystals. And I have been toying with buying wholesale and then selling them like on an Etsy store or a Facebook store. I'm still toying with that. I don't know if I want that responsibility. I'm being honest. I don't know if I want to do that, but it's something that I've been thinking about for some time. And I went ahead and placed this order with them. And I mean, I really do love their crystals, but I'm going to be honest. I placed an order yesterday with Tina, and I'm hoping to get those within the next few weeks. I don't know how quickly they'll be shipped to me, but I wanted to order from Tina as well because I really love her crystals and her AB drills. So we'll see. I'm still on the fence with the purchasing wholesale and selling them myself. Hello, the Color Book Nook. How are you? Let's see, where am I? Where do I buy my ABs? Okay, it is a group called, you know what, Jill, I'll have to send that to you because this is not the group. This is just a label that they put on, and it just tells me what they are. Now, this is an AB gold color, which I really do like. But I have purchased quite a bit of their crystals, and I really do like them. But like I said, I'm kind of on the fence. Like, these are really, really pretty. So I'm going to make sure I don't spill them. This is their clear AB. Actually, they're not clear. They're just ABs. And they're amazing. And I haven't had any garbage from any of the purchases that I've made. But as I said, I'm on the fence with this. It's a huge investment, and I get them through a group on Alibaba. So I have been working with, these are 10s, and I also have the 8s. And I've been working with the 8s a lot. And now that I'm getting back with the rounds, I'm going to start working with the 10s. But I also have, which are really, really pretty. Now, these ones that I have in the jars, these ones are the ones that they sent to me to try. And these ones are really gorgeous. Now, these are also the AB blues. And I don't know for sure if you guys are seeing these good, but they are beautiful. And believe me, I went through that entire bag to see if I can find any garbage, and I haven't found any yet. So, but they are beautiful, beautiful drills. Let me put these back. I spilt one of them yesterday, and I was really quite upset. It took me hours to get them. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Hey, Jill, painting sparklers. I am good. How are you? I'm doing really good, thank you. How are you? I know that you live, I believe, in New York, don't you? And I hope I pronounce your name right, so please. Is it Shalene? Because I mean, I heard you say it a couple of times, and oh my God, your name is so beautiful. But I believe, because I've been in a few of your lives and watched a couple of your videos lately, and I believe you were talking about living in New York. So if you do, I'm hoping you're staying safe. And it looks like New York is doing much better than it was a few weeks ago. Hello, Lizzie. How are you doing? Yes, Jill, that's true. It does take a while to get the sparklers, but I'm going to be honest, it's a lot faster than the route that I've been going. And even though it's a little bit cheaper, it's a lot less time. It's a lot less time. Let's see. Hello, Susie. How are you doing? Western New York. So how is it going up there now? I've always started thinking about, I believe her name is Marissa, Kiss My Crafts, because I know she lives in New York City, and I always think about all of you that live in New York. I can't even watch the news anymore. I'm always afraid of seeing those numbers. It just freaks me out. But It is slowing down. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I am really glad. I haven't gone anywhere since March 2nd except to babysit my grandsons. My hubby does all the shopping. That sounds like my house. My hubby does all the shopping. I stay home. um, so there we go. Sorry about that. So I do apologize for those that just came in. I might sound a little off and might have to repeat myself a couple of times. I am fighting a migraine, so I am going to turn this light off now. And sorry that it's dark. I suffer from migraines, and this is especially this time of the year, it is really, really difficult. But I haven't gone live for a while, and I miss all of you. And so I wanted to say hello and hope that all of you are doing really well. Manitoba has, I believe, gone into phase 2, and it seems like everybody's starting to move around a lot more. The only reason why I noticed that is because I work 2 days a week in the office, and I noticed that the highways are starting to get a little bit more congested. But it was really nice when it was, not as bad. So you have asthma. My sis has asthma too, and I worry about her. One of the things that spooks me about this particular virus is you just never know. You can have somebody standing next to you and you just don't know. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about that though. I'm just glad that you're safe, and please, please, please stay safe, all of you. Oh, that's okay. So I'm going to tell you guys about my this last week's Odyssey, because it has been, oh my gosh. Anyway, I think I told all of you, if some of you may or may not know about this, but I was in a car accident in January, and there was a bit of damage to my car in the front, and we decided that we were going to have the car fixed after we came back from holidays. So we took the car to the collision agency, and oh my gosh. So basically what you had to do is you take your car in, and then you put your keys in a mailbox type slot, and then they would contact you and let you know about how long or if and when your car will ever get fixed. Now, because mine was an accident, I went through our MPI, which is our car insurance. And I knew it was going to cost quite a bit of money, but I had no idea how much. They estimated around $3,000. Now, if you looked at the car, it didn't look like $3,000, but you don't know what's happened from underneath. And so Mr. Review took the car in, dropped off the car keys, and then took the bus home. And we waited. I believe it took them 2 days to come back and say, you know what, we've looked over your car. Everything appears to be, okay or fixable, and that they were going to send the information to MPI, and they would let me know when the car was completed. In the email, it said, please allow 7 to 10 days for them to repair the vehicle. And I thought, oh, okay, that's reasonable. So we gave them a couple of days, and then we decided, we need to rent a car because I still had to go to the office 2 days a week. So we rented a car. We figured probably 4 days tops, no big deal. So the first week went by and we never heard back from the collision agency. So I got in touch with them and they informed me that they had not received the parts. And I thought, okay, so how long is this going to be? And she says, well, we're really not sure. Could be just a couple of days. Okay, fine. So another week goes by and Mr. Review calls and says, hey, how long is this going to take? Because now we've had this rental car for 2 weeks. Now, our insurance company paid for the rental car, but it doesn't pay for the extended insurance that we put on it, because when you rent a car, you get basic insurance. You don't get full coverage. And I didn't want to take the chance with a rental car. So we were paying about $12 a day for this rental car. And without, the insurance company or the collision company to let us know how long it was going to take, we had no idea. So when Mr. Review called, the lady or receptionist said, well, we'll have to call the shop and let you know. But it was like 10 minutes to 5, and by that time the shop had closed. So they called us, so the next Monday was a holiday for us. And then Tuesday, they called and told Mr. Review that they still didn't have the parts. Now we're talking 2 weeks into this. We're like, really? So he said, well, when do you anticipate getting the parts? Well, they couldn't give us an exact date. So Mr. Review's like, well, okay, then why didn't you just call us and let us know that we can come pick up the car, and then call us and let us know when the parts have arrived? Well, we can't do that. Well, why not? And this is exactly what they told him. We've sanitized your car and we don't want to have to do it again. Really? Why would you want to sanitize the car? I mean, I understand it if you were inside the car quite a bit. Hey, I even told Mr. Review, I said, you know what? I would be willing to drive the car, sanitize it myself, so that way I'm saving myself $12 a day. But no. So the car actually sat there for almost a month before they got the parts and had it completed. We finally got the car back, and I was like, oh my gosh. So needless to say, we ended up paying like almost $260 for the rental car. And that was just for the insurance. That wasn't for actually renting the car. Just crazy. Just crazy. Let's see. I am still having a hard time controlling my asthma. So Tammy, you were telling me that you have like a machine that you go on once in a while for your asthma. Does that help for you? Sorry, I gotta put this. I can't talk and do that at the same time. I'm afraid I'm gonna put the drills in the wrong corner. So another thing that happened to me this last week, I have been going through a lot. There's been a lot of things that have been happening this last couple of weeks, and my mother ended up having to have surgery. And I received a couple of, I guess you can call, unwanted phone calls. So I have severe obstructive sleep apnea. And one night, this is kind of funny, my sister will laugh. One night after all of this was like piled up, I went to go to bed, and I put my mask on to go to sleep. And I was so mentally tired, I completely forgot to turn my mask on. And I remember waking up periodically through the night, um, thinking to myself, why am I waking up all the time? Because I shouldn't. And Mr. Review got out of bed and went to sleep on the couch because he said my snoring was so bad. And I'm like, why didn't you wake me up or, say something to me? And he's like, well, I didn't want to wake you up because you had a really rough day. And I'm like, okay, but still, you should have woke me up. I said, because the problem is I forgot to turn the machine on for my CPAP machine. And he's like, oh, well, no wonder you were snoring. It's like, oh my gosh, I was so tired that day. It was just crazy because unfortunately, from all the waking up and snoring and whatnot, my brain doesn't sleep and it makes you extremely groggy. So I told him, I said, next time you hear me snoring like that and it's off, just give me a kick and say, turn your machine on. Although that was the first time I've ever forgotten to turn it on. So totally crazy. And yes, my sister's laughing. You think it's funny. Yeah, it is. It's really, I'm honestly hoping that I can eventually get off the CPAP. I don't know if that's possible. I've been on it for years. And it seems to be a family tradition in our family to have, to actually live with a CPAP machine. It's nothing. I'm going to be honest, to be on something like that, and you travel, you have to carry this like suitcase for your CPAP machine. It's crazy, but I can't sleep without it. And if I try, and that's why I was really surprised I actually fell asleep. If I try, I'll stop breathing, and that's what actually jolts you and wakes you up. Yeah, it's just I'm hoping one of these days I can get off of that because it's not comfortable, and you learn to live with it. It's just not comfortable, not fun, and definitely not pleasing or sexy because it's ugly. I love my CPAP. Can't sleep without it. I've tried. I have tried so many times to sleep without it, but I can't because I don't know if it's because I'm used to it or if it's just I'm not ready to come off of it. I've lost quite a bit of weight, and they have lowered the pressure on my CPAP machine on several occasions, but they can't guarantee that I will ever get off of it. And on top of that, and this is kind of funny too, for years I have been fighting with restless leg syndrome. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced restless leg syndrome. If you have, let me know. And if you know of any remedies, let me know, because I think my coworkers would really appreciate it. I will be sitting at work in front of my computer with my earbuds on, listening to music, and there's my legs just a tapping away. And I can't help it. But when my medication starts to wear off, the tapping becomes actually stomping because my legs just won't stop. And it's quite embarrassing, especially when you're on a flight, because you're like, okay, oops, sorry about that. I just moved my camera. I want to get up and move around, but you can't on a flight. So you're trying to keep your legs steady, but when you have restless leg, you can't. Your legs will fight, and they will fight until you finally stomp. And there was a couple of times, not this last year, but the year before, where when we actually landed in Mexico, we had an emergency on the flight, and my legs were already having a party. So I'm like, I looked at Mr. Review and I said, listen, I've got to stand up. I have to stand up, because if I don't, this plane is going to start rocking and rolling. He just kind of looked at me and smiled. So I stood up, and of course, because there was an emergency on board, we had to wait until they took the passenger off the flight. So we were told we had to sit down until the passenger that was being removed from the flight had, gotten off the flight. And I thought to myself, I can't sit down. If I sit down, this plane is going to just go everywhere. I mean, that's how bad it was getting. And so I kind of stood up, and one of the stewardess kind of gave me this look, and I told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I have restless leg and I have to stand up. And she's just kind of like, okay, no, not a problem. So I think we were there parked by the terminal for at least, I would say, 10 minutes before they actually allowed us off the plane. But it's when I'm sitting or laying down, if I don't have my if I didn't take, let's say that, if I didn't take my medication, my legs will start jolting. And Mr. Review has told me numerous times that I kick him in bed. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. He could be just pulling my leg. Who knows? But I do know that when I'm awake and the medication that I take for it wears off, my coworkers, they'll come up and say, did your medication wear off? Are you okay? I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. It's embarrassing, guys. I'm telling you. People are laughing. Yep, only been using mine for a year. I love my CPAP. Okay. Hello, Sensational. How are you? Or Sensational, sorry, cut that off. How are you, Sensational Crafter? So yeah, that was, I have to tell you guys about that trip, because it's really, really interesting. It wasn't this last trip to Mexico. It was the trip before. And we flew out of Winnipeg really early in the morning. And I would say we were probably not even close to halfway to Mexico. And we ended up having a passenger, and I felt really bad. She went to the washroom and had to stand in line. And then literally just passed out and fell to the floor, and nobody could figure out what was going on. And thank God we had some EMTs on the flight, and they were able to help figure out what was going on. She basically, I would say, the remaining part of the flight, other than the last 10 minutes, laid on the floor in front of the bathroom up by the cockpit. And so all of us that needed to use the washroom, we had to go to the back of the plane because obviously we couldn't get to the front. And I felt really, really bad for this lady. 10 minutes before the flight landed, they got her up and put her in her seat. And she said she felt fine. I don't know what ultimately happened between the time that she sat in her seat until the time we landed, but she literally passed out and was on the floor again. Now, when the first time it happened, they were debating on if they were going to divert the flight and land in Texas so that they could take this lady off the plane and get her to a hospital. But she kept convincing everyone, no, it's okay. You know, I could make it. And so she got to Mexico, but we're not really sure what ultimately happened. I believe her husband was saying that she wasn't quite feeling good that morning, but they thought maybe it was because she hadn't eaten. So they were giving her like soda and stuff to eat so that her equilibrium would normalize. But who knows? And then you want to talk about strange. This is strange. So it doesn't matter where me and Mr. Review go. There's always somebody that Mr. Review knows where we go everywhere. It doesn't matter. And the first year that we went to Mexico, we went down there, and the day that we arrived, we were walking around looking for a place to eat. And lo and behold, who do we walk into? His ex-wife. I was like, seriously? Puerto Vallarta is not very big, or excuse me, it's not very small. It's pretty big. And the first day we get there, we walk into his ex-wife. Alrighty. So that was the first year. The second year, we knew his ex-wife was down there at the same time that we were, but we didn't bump into her at that time. But the year after, which was not this year, but the year before, on that flight, when we landed, we had to wait for them to take the passenger off the flight. And I stood up. There was somebody that was sitting behind Mr. Review, and it was a woman, and she kept glaring at me. And I'm like, lady, you don't know me. You don't know why I'm standing up. You have absolutely no idea what my legs are going through. And to glare at me, that's not good. But she kept glaring at me. And I said something to Mr. Review as we went through the airport. And I said, the woman behind me, she was glaring at me. And I think that is because I was standing up. And he kind of looked at me and he kind of chuckled. He says, I don't know if I should tell you this. And I'm like, uh-oh. What? He goes, that lady that was sitting behind me, he says, is that who you're talking about? And I'm like, yes. And he says, well, yeah, I dated her about a year before we got together. I was like, seriously? No wonder she was giving me dirty looks. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That is just too hilarious. So I was like, oh my gosh. So we got through that. We headed to the hotel that we were staying at. And we had to reach out to my husband's cousin who was waiting for us to arrive. So we texted him and said, hey, we're here. And, what would you guys like to do for dinner? So he wrote back and he says, hey, why don't we go to this place called Margarita Grill, which is really good. We're like, okay, we'll meet you there. So we met them across the street from this other restaurant that they were thinking about going. And Mr. Review's like, oh, heck, we are not going to that restaurant. Because guess who was there? His ex-wife and the entire family. I'm like, really? I mean, third year in a row. And his ex-wife was there at the same time. So he looked at his cousin and he says, there is absolutely no way we're eating at that place across the street. So he says, well, okay, let's go to the Margarita Grill, which was probably about 2 or 3 blocks. And we're like, okay, fine. So we go to the Margarita Grill, right? And we were really happy. Everyone was talking, and they put us right close to this street side of the restaurant. And we must have been there for maybe 5 minutes, maybe. And all of a sudden, this really husky big guy comes up to my husband and pats him on the shoulder. He goes, hey, how you doing? It's great to see you. I'm so happy to see you here in Mexico. And he went on and on and on. Me and my husband's cousin and his wife were all kind of looking at each other going, who the heck is that? Of course, It's somebody that Mr. Review knows. So anyway, we were just talking and the gentleman leaves, right? So he leaves, and all of a sudden, another person comes up and says, "Hey, how's it going? It's great to meet you." And he starts shaking everybody's hand and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I was just kind of literally shaking my head. And so was his cousin and his wife, because we were like, who are these people? So then the third person comes, and it's his ex-wife. "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, oh my God. I didn't even recognize her, but I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? We avoided one restaurant so that we didn't have to go through this, only to find out that they went to the same restaurant we did because they didn't want to sit and wait 20 minutes for their food. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. So you never know. You know what? When they say it's a small world, definitely is. So, oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Sensational Crafter. I'm glad that you're doing well. Margarita Grill, best place ever. Yes, they have excellent margaritas. So if you're a margarita drinker, and I believe they had several different flavors. I'm not 100% sure though, to be honest with you, but so good. Such a great place. So, and this last trip that we had to Mexico, honestly, I think our flight went fairly well. Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, no. I take that back. Actually, we ended up having to change flights in Calgary because the flight that we were supposed to be on was broken. And I have to be honest, I'm really glad that if there is an issue with a flight or with a plane, that they're upfront and honest with you, because honestly, I don't want to go on a broken plane. No, that just doesn't sound right to me. So, but that did happen on our way there. But on our way home, everything really worked out nice. So that is unbelievable about the amount of people that you ended up running into. I know, isn't that crazy? Like I said, I mean, Puerto Vallarta is not small. It's fairly big, and to run into that many people, and of course it has to be Mr. Review, right? So he's just having a ball, and we're all sitting there going, really? And on top of that, my sister will laugh at this. It was the same year that I threw a surprise party for Mr. Review in Mexico, and he'll probably, I hope he's not watching. He turned 60. So the surprise party was, he knew nothing about what was going on. The only thing I told him is that, one, you are not to plan anything for your birthday. Now, Mr. Review's birthday is February 14th, so it's Valentine's Day. And I planned a big dinner, and afterwards I had organized a party for the family to come back to the hotel, and they had closed the bar, and the one of the ladies that worked there, super, super nice lady, I told her what I was wanting to do, and she said, not a problem. I will order a cake, get some balloons. I told her I wanted balloons, cake, and some streamers and whatnot. She got everything ordered and ready, so that when we went to dinner, they basically closed the bar down and then got everything set up for him. And Mr. Review didn't know that my sister and her husband was coming in for this event. Now, my sister-in-law, Mr. Review's sister, and her husband came 2 days before this happened. And my sister and her husband arrived on his birthday. So, and believe me, it's not easy to keep a secret from Mr. Review because it just isn't. He will find a way to get it out of you. So anyway, on the 14th, we went out for breakfast with his sister. And then we walked around Puerto Vallarta for a while. And then we went to lunch. Meanwhile, I was carrying my phone and watching for messages from my sister saying that they had arrived. And my sister, who I should have kicked when she arrived, was sending me cryptic messages. Now, she didn't tell me she was going to send me cryptic messages. She just sent them to me. So I'm freaking out getting these messages going, what are you talking about? Because I believe one of the messages was something to do with my mother being in the hospital and unable to go or something like that. And I'm like freaking out thinking, oh my gosh. Now, Mr. Review's sister noticed I was acting a little weird. So I told everyone, I said, listen, I have got to go back to the hotel and just you guys do what you want to do, but I'm going to have to go back to the hotel. I had to make up some kind of excuse to get back to the hotel. So my sister-in-law said, no, I'm coming with you, because she was getting kind of worried about the way I was acting. And I thought, uh-oh. So I had to tell her what was happening, because I didn't want them thinking like, I was sick or something. So I explained to my sister-in-law that my sister and her husband were flying in, but she's sending me these weird messages. And I showed them to her, and she's like, oh, is your mother okay? And I said, I didn't know my mother was in the hospital or was going to the hospital. I had no idea what was going on. So we get back to the hotel, and we decided to change, and we went down to the pool, and we just kind of sat around the pool so that I can keep an eye on the lobby in the hotel and see when my sister actually arrives. Meanwhile, Mr. Review and my sister-in-law's husband were still walking around in Puerto Vallarta somewhere. We didn't know exactly where they were. And I believe it was like maybe 30, maybe 40 minutes later, I saw my brother-in-law in the lobby. So I'm running over to him. I'm like, you need to go hide, because I have no idea where Mr. Review is. And he's looking at me, he goes, don't worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, he already knows we're here. And I'm like, how did he know? And he says, well, we pulled up into the area where the cars parked to let the people out to go into the hotel. And he said the person that was taking care of the luggage walked them over to the elevator, and they could hear, I'm not kidding you, they could hear Mr. Review talking in the elevator. Now, the poor gentleman that was helping them with their luggage didn't understand English. So they're trying to convince the guy with the luggage to wait for the elevator to do whatever it was going to do, because they didn't want to get into the elevator. They knew that Mr. Review was in the elevator. But unfortunately, the guy didn't understand. So the door opens and there's my sister standing in front of the elevator, and Mr. Review's like, what the heck? He had absolutely no clue that they were there. So cat was out of the bag. And because I was going to surprise Mr. Review at the restaurant with my sister and her husband. But yeah, no, he found out way too soon, which was okay. He still had no idea about the party after dinner, and he had no idea the restaurant that we were going. So that still was a surprise. It was fun. I had a great time doing that. But and like I said, the lady that helped me organize this was phenomenal. She's just great. And I just love her to death. And yeah. So, okay, let me read some of this stuff. Margarita, I'd say Jax and yeah, Jax had a lot of good, yeah. Jax did have good margaritas. Odo 59, just so that everyone knows, Odo 59 is Mr. Review. So he has just listened to that entire story. Let's see. I plan on what? I planned to get drunk. Jeez. That's Mr. Review for you right there. So, Mr. Review, the first time we went to Puerto Vallarta, he got, well, I should say we both did, because we're not used to the alcohol down there. Oh my gosh. I was literally crawling off of one drink too. It was that the alcohol was that strong, but he was texting a friend saying that he was dunked. I was like, oh my gosh, honey, you really need to get off of the alcohol. So anyway, I hope that I can't wait to get back. I love Mexico. Just the people out there are so wonderful. So anyway, so what is everybody else up to? What have you been all up to lately? The weather out here in Winnipeg is really starting to change, although I really would like to see it get a bit warmer than it is. It's still a little chilly out here. Gunked. Yeah, that's what I said. Gunked. Anyway, people are probably going, you're not diamond painting. Where's my pen? There it is. It has been drinking ever since. Oh my gosh. Tell them about your cruise ship comment. Oh my God. I can hear my voice in the living room. Okay. Hello, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Is it Michaela? Shailene, I have to go and fix dinner. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shailene, for coming in. It was great to see you. Take care of yourself, okay? Oh, excellent. Tell them about the pirate ship. Oh my gosh. You guys really want to hear about the pirate ship? That's embarrassing enough. Oh my gosh. Pirate ship. Okay, so in Puerto Vallarta, they have a pirate ship that does 2 cruises. So if you do the day cruise, sorry, I had to get that off. If you did the day cruise, it was with adults and children. And I don't believe they were allowing alcohol on that particular cruise. But if you went on the night cruise, we called that the booze cruise, because that's basically all it was, is a big party and lots of drinks. They watched how much alcohol you were intaking. And of course, the tickets for this trip includes all the alcohol you can drink, right? So you're assigned to a certain pirate. And that pirate's job is to make sure that if there's only 50% left of your drink, that they just keep bringing them. I mean, they just kept bringing them on. Anyway, my sister and her husband were with us at this time, and we convinced them to go on the pirate ship because we had really enjoyed it the year before. And Unfortunately, my sister didn't eat, shame on you, before we went on the ship. And the waters weren't very calm. So putting the combination between not eating, drinking alcohol, and having very choppy waters. And when we went downstairs for supper, my sister ended up going back upstairs and hanging off the side of the boat because she was afraid she was going to throw up. So the remaining part of the cruise, and I believe it was 50% of the time, my sister was hanging off of the side of the boat, praying to the water gods. Sorry, I had to bring that up. But I really felt bad for her because she was like, oh, I don't feel good. But I'm sure that's not what she wanted me to talk about. She is talking about this part of the cruise that they pick people out of the audience and they will put them in the show. And I was actually picked to come on stage. And I think I was probably half tanked, but I ended up staying on my legs. Some people weren't, because of course, depending on how much alcohol you were intaking, but we were basically brought on stage to do like a contest with a balloon, or balloons, I should say. And it's too bad I can't post the video because it is hilarious. My sister does have it on video of us. There's 4 of us that are competing with these balloons, and our spouses or whoever we brought with us were also involved. It was quite hilarious, I have to say. Yeah, it was fun. She was going me. What do you mean by that? I can. Okay. Anyway, it was a fun trip. We had a great time. And I don't think, well, I asked my sister, I said, hey, let's go back on the pirate ship. She's like, oh, no. I don't think she has forgotten that feeling of not feeling good on that pirate ship. But this year we did swimming with the dolphins. That was fun. And after swimming with the dolphins, we got on a boat, went to a private island that this place owned, stayed out there for, I would say, a couple of hours. And then we had to get back on the boat and go back to Puerto Vallarta. And in the process of going back to Puerto Vallarta, they kept telling us that we would have a big chance of seeing humpback whales. And I think we got about 50% to Puerto Vallarta when all of a sudden we started seeing these humpback whales coming out of the water. It was amazing. I've never seen that before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. But I will say, when we went to swim with the dolphins, I mean, I love dolphins. I love the ocean. And my sister has always wanted to swim with the dolphins. And I thought, it'd be really fun to go. So we ended up going to, I think it was an hour or 2 hours with the dolphins. And one other phobia that I have is I'm afraid of heights. Now, if you think about it, there's no heights involved when you get into water. But when I see how deep that pool was, I really didn't want to get into it. I mean, I'm being honest. I was like, oh, no, you're not getting me in that. There's no way. And my sister, she is trained in scuba diving. So for her, it was no big deal. But for me, I was looking at that going, I ain't doing that. As much as I love dolphins, I don't know if I can get over that fear of not being able to put my feet on the ground. And Anyway, the trainer, one of the trainers, I should say, she said there's 3 ways of getting into the water. You can go in slowly and let your body adapt to the temperature of the water, or you can just jump in, or I push you in. I was looking at her like, you are not pushing me in. So there was 3 of us. So the first person to get in was my sister. She just jumped right in. She got her mask on and jumped in. And the gentleman that was in our group, he jumped in right after she did. And of course, there's me, scared to death. And I'm looking at that. All I could think of is, that's deep. That's really deep. And I kept stalling, and I could see in the corner of my eye this woman getting ready to shove me in the water. And I remember just looking at her like, you're going to back off, because you're not pushing me in that water. I finally did get in, and it wasn't that bad once I got used to the fact that, it was quite deep. And I had flippers or fins on. I was able to keep my head up off the water, but still, it took me a while to think, okay, I'm going to be okay. Fun though. Really enjoyed. We had 2 dolphins in there, and it's an excellent experience. If you ever have a chance to do something like that, it was an excellent experience. And then after the 2 dolphins, they brought in I believe it was I want to say a walrus, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, really fun. And I believe we're planning on doing the trainer for a day next year. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, even though it took me a while to get used to it. I can't swim, so no water for me. I can swim. I used to compete in swimming, and I loved it. But after I turned in my mid-20s, I became very claustrophobic, and I can't put my head into the water without starting to panic. And I'm not sure why that is. It just happened when I got into my mid-20s. So I love being in the pool, and I love being in the water. As long as my head doesn't go in the water, I'm fine. Especially like the ocean. When you go to Mexico, the ocean, the Pacific side of the ocean, it's so warm, and it's just really nice to get in there. But I can't swim in it because I'm so afraid that I'm going to drown. And I don't know why. I'm a really good swimmer, but when you have that type of phobia, it can be very overpowering. So yeah, training. Yahoo. Yeah, it was a sea lion, wasn't it? I believe it was a sea lion. Then freaked. Yes, I did. When we were in the water, I felt something underneath my legs. And it wasn't the dolphins. I just felt like something went underneath my legs, and I literally did freak out. But yeah, that's me. So anyway, getting close to that time where I'm going to have to close. So we got another 10 minutes. So by saying that, I think I'm just going to go ahead and close the live. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it. It was fun, and hopefully next weekend I can get the system to work so that we can all interact and play some games. And yeah, it's really fun to do that. For all of you, please stay safe. Please stay healthy, and take care of yourselves and your families. So by saying that, everyone, thank you again for joining. I miss you all, and it was so great to spend some time with you. So I'm going to go ahead and say good night, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye for now.